Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're embarking on quite an incredible journey back in time. We're opening up the ancient wisdom of Seneca, specifically his Letters from a Stoic.
Yeah, great stuff.
And these aren't just, old letters penned to some friend. They feel like a personal, surprisingly direct guide to navigating life.
Yeah, especially the big challenges.
That's right.
Like living authentically in a world that's just full of distractions, pressures, all that noise.
Exactly. And for anyone listening who's looking to maybe cut through the superficial stuff and find a more grounded, principled way to exist, Seneca offers really profoundly practical advice.
Practical.
So our mission today is to dig into these sources, pull out those vital nuggets of insight, how to live in accordance with our nature, pursue real wisdom instead of just, trivial things.
Yeah.
And how to manage what society expects without losing yourself in the process.
Okay, so let's unpack one of the most fundamental ideas Seneca keeps coming back to, this idea of the true end of man, which he just calls happiness. Simple word, big concept.
Right. And he says it comes from getting this one and only good thing in life, the supreme ideal, arisate in Greek, or virtus in Latin.
Virtus, yeah.
And it's pretty quick to point out that our English word virtue doesn't quite capture the full force, does it?
No, it doesn't. And that's a really crucial distinction because it's not just about being morally good, like we might think today.
Okay.
Virtus for Seneca is more holistic. It's an excellence, a kind of inherent strength and capability that lets you truly flourish.
Like potential realized.
Sort of, yeah. It's a state of being, not just doing good deeds here and there. And he breaks it down into 4 key qualities.
Okay, what are they?
Wisdom, which is really moral insight. Then courage, and not just physical bravery, but mental toughness.
Right, fortitude.
Exactly. Self-control, mastering your impulses, and justice, which means dealing uprightly with other people.
And what's really striking is his argument that someone armed with these qualities becomes self-sufficient, immune to suffering even, superior to the wounds and upsets of life.
That's the goal.
He even throws out this surprising paradox. The shortest route to wealth is the contempt of wealth.
Which sounds, totally counterintuitive today.
It absolutely does, and it's a powerful challenge to how we usually think, isn't it? Where wealth often equals success or security.
Yeah.
But this isn't about, living in poverty. It's about a profound mental liberation.
Oh, okay.
For Seneca, true richness comes from desiring little, being content with what you have, instead of constantly chasing more.
Right.
When you let go of that cycle of wanting and getting, you become, less vulnerable. Market crashes don't break you. Social pressure doesn't own you. You're genuinely free.
That freedom itself is a kind of wealth.
Exactly. A wealth no one can take away.
So it fundamentally shifts your perspective. True happiness isn't out there in achievements or things. It's about building up these internal strengths.
That zero foundation.
Yeah, something solid that can withstand, pretty much anything the outside world throws at you.
It's this idea of inner strength. It leads really nicely into Seneca's advice on how we present ourselves in society. If happiness is internal, how does that inner state connect with our outward life, especially navigating social stuff? In letter V, he strongly advises against extremes, things like, deliberately wearing shabby clothes or having long hair and unkempt beard just to signal, I'm a philosopher.
Right. Don't wear your philosophy like a costume.
He's basically saying don't be a walking billboard if it just pushes people away.
And it raises that important question. Why not make an outward show if you believe in something strongly?
Yeah, why hide it?
Well, Seneca explains that philosophy already has a bit of an unpopular reputation. People misunderstand it, maybe see it as too harsh or weird.
Okay.
So if we deliberately separate ourselves through how we look or act, we risk alienating the very people we might want to reach or help understand.
Right, you shut the door before you even start talking.
Exactly. He puts it very plainly. Inwardly, everything should be different, but our outward face should conform with the crowd.
So blend in outwardly.
To a degree. Your clothes shouldn't be flashy, but not depressingly dowdy either. Simple living, yes, but not like aggressive self-punishment.
Okay.
The goal, he suggests, is to be admirable and understandable, not seen as ridiculous or hostile. You want your message heard.
That makes a lot of sense. Don't let your appearance become a barrier. He gives a great example in letter X8, discussing how to act during the Saturnalia holiday.
Oh, yeah. The big Roman party time.
Right, the time of widespread partying and indulgence. It's that classic dilemma.
Yeah.
How do you live your principles without becoming a total social hermit? Do you abstain completely or join in?
It is a classic dilemma, and Seneca's take is wonderfully nuanced. His advice is basically, be neither altogether like nor altogether unlike the festive hatted crowd.
Okay, so find a middle ground.
Sort of. He definitely sees great strength of will in, as he puts it, remaining dry and sober when everyone about one is puking drunk. That shows real self-mastery.
For sure.
But he also recognizes what he calls a developed sense of fitness in not making yourself conspicuously different.
Tact.
Yeah, maybe. The idea is maybe do the same things, but not quite in the same way. Keep your principles intact, but don't, flaunt your difference.
That sounds like a real tightrope walk, though.
Yeah.
How does he suggest finding that balance in practice, especially with all the social pressure, to either conform or really loudly dissent?
Well, it comes back to cultivating that internal measure, that vertices we talked about.
Okay.
If your actions are guided by your inner values, your choices will be authentic regardless of the pressure. He applies this to desires, too.
How so?
Natural desires, hunger, thirst, they're limited, easily satisfied. But false desires, the ones driven by popular opinion or trends, wanting more money, more status, more indulgence,
Yeah.
those have nowhere to stop. They're a bottomless pit. So it's about understanding why you're doing something. Is it inner conviction or external pressure?
That's a really profound critique of, keeping up with the Joneses and what society tells us is success.
Definitely.
And looking even bigger picture, Seneca doesn't just focus on individuals. Letter XC talks about a kind of golden age where leaders were chosen for character, not power, and to govern was to serve, not to rule. Sounds almost utopian, right? Especially compared to leadership today sometimes.
It does paint a stark contrast. Seneca uses this ideal to highlight the problems of his own time.
Okay.
He contrasts that golden age with the crimson luxury and deep anxieties of Rome. He argues that greed, avarice, basically burst into this ideal state.
Greed ruined it.
Pretty much. Suddenly, everything became someone's private property. Possessions shrunk from this idea of unlimited shared wealth down to fiercely guarded private fractions.
Big impact.
He notes how simple shared living brought tranquil nights, whereas the pursuit of luxury leads to tossing and turning with worry.
The stress of having stuff.
Exactly. It connects back powerfully. True freedom, real peace, isn't in hoarding wealth or power. It's in a simpler, less burdened way of living. Living by your own authentic measure, not society's.
Speaking of connections, Seneca has a really deep take on friendship. In letter 3, he kind of calls someone out for saying someone's a friend, but then warning not to discuss personal stuff with them.
Yeah, he's pretty blunt about that.
It's like, if you can't trust them with everything, are they really truly a friend?
Precisely. He says if you don't trust someone like you trust yourself, you just fail to grasp sufficiently the full force of true friendship. With a real friend, you should feel as comfortable as if you were alone. No pretense, no holding back, that level of openness and security.
But he also warns against going too far the other way.
Yes. He wisely notes that trusting everyone is as much a fault as trusting no one. The ideal is discernment. Value deep, authentic connections over just having lots of superficial acquaintances.
So friendship isn't casual for him.
No, it's a serious, almost sacred bond built on absolute trust.
And then there's this incredible idea from Hecato that Seneca quotes in letter 6, "What progress have I made? I am beginning to be my own friend."
Powerful line.
For many people, I think, the idea of being your own best friend might sound a bit lonely or maybe self-centered. How does Seneca argue this self-friendship actually helps us connect better with others?
It's a really profound insight, actually. This self-friendship means having such deep inner peace and self-acceptance that you're never truly alone.
Okay.
If you can be fully present and content with yourself, you're less needy, less dependent on external validation. And paradoxically, that makes you more capable of authentic connection with others.
Because you're not trying to get something from them.
Exactly. You're not trying to fill a void. You engage from a place of wholeness. And this internal stability, it sort of radiates outwards, making one, as he says, a friend of all.
That's beautiful.
He also talks beautifully about the joy of getting letters from distant friends, seeing those marks and signs that are real, feeling like you're seeing them again. It just underlines how vital genuine connection is, both inside yourself and with others, for an authentic life. So how do you get there? To that inner stability, that self-friendship? Letter LXXE3 really hammers home the importance of daily self-reflection.
Oh, absolutely essential. Non-negotiable for Seneca.
What does he suggest?
He suggests we should live as if we were in public view and think as if someone could peer into the inmost recesses of our hearts.
Whoa.
Because, he says, someone can. He believed God, or maybe a divine rational principle, is present in our minds, always watching.
Okay, that's intense.
It is, but the practical point is that the ruin of our character often comes from the fact that, well, none of us looks back over his life.
We just keep going without checking in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this daily review is critical for real progress. It lets you align your actions with your values, learn from mistakes, and consciously shape who you want to become. It's active self-correction.
Self-discovery, too. Now, Seneca isn't just about, vague good vibes. He gets quite pointed about what true philosophy should actually do.
Oh yeah, he has no patience for intellectual fluff. Right. In letter XC7, he just mocks these trivial logical puzzles. Like the example, mouse is a syllable, and a mouse nibbles cheese. Therefore, a syllable nibbles cheese.
Laughs slightly. It sounds ridiculous.
It does. What was his issue with these childish fatuities, as he calls them? And does that resonate today?
He saw them as a colossal waste of time and brain power. Honestly, a bit like some endless, pointless debates you see online now, maybe.
Good point.
Philosophy, he argued, should offer practical counsel, real help for people facing real problems. Death, poverty, wealth, misfortune, suffering.
It's the big stuff.
Yeah, it should show them in their doubt and disarray the shining torch of truth. Its purpose isn't wordplay or academic games. It's to reveal what nature has made necessary and what she has made superfluous.
Cutting through the noise again.
Exactly. A clear line between useless intellectual gymnastics and practical wisdom for actually living authentically. He wanted philosophy to be a tool, not just a game.
That leads straight into letter LXXE8, where he takes on liberal studies, questions their ultimate value, which is challenging because many of us are taught these subjects are valuable in themselves: literature, music, geometry.
His position is pretty clear and, yeah, quite radical. Any study where the main goal is just making money, that's unworthy of a truly free person.
Okay, so where's worthy?
The only truly liberal study, the only one that makes a person free in the deepest sense, is the pursuit of wisdom itself. Philosophy in action.
But what about learning history or literature? Don't they help?
He acknowledges they might prepare the mind for the acquisition of moral values. They lay some groundwork maybe, but they don't directly instill those values.
Oh, okay.
He asks basically, can reading poetry make you brave? Can geometry make you loyal? Can music theory teach you self-control or simplicity?
And his answer is?
His answer is no, not directly. Wisdom, he says, publishes not words, but truths. It's a strong call to prioritize applied knowledge, inner transformation over just collecting facts.
So it's not that learning stuff is bad, but the purpose has to be right. It has to lead to wisdom.
That seems to be the core of it. He even slams scholars like Didymus, who apparently wrote 4,000 works on totally useless questions, like where Homer was born or who Sappho slept with.
4,000 books on that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of effort on trivia.
Indeed. Seneca's blunt assessment. To want to know more than is sufficient is a form of intemperance, like intellectual gluttony. He warns this obsession with the tiny details of liberal arts turns people into pedantic, irritating, tactless, self-satisfied bores. Ouch.
Yeah.
Harsh.
The focus should be on practical philosophy, the kind that steels your spirit and braces it against whatever threatens, not debating footnotes or hoarding unapplied knowledge.
Don't just fill your head, fill your life with guiding wisdom.
That's the message.
Seneca also doesn't, shy away from life's harsher side. Letter 7 warns about the dangers of the mass crowd. He even admits his own weakness, saying he comes home a bit morally worse after being in large groups.
And he specifically calls out the corrupting effect of public shows, like the brutal gladiatorial contests.
He's incredibly honest about how easily we can be influenced, how susceptible we are.
Yeah.
His description of those lunch-hour gladiatorial shows is really graphic. He calls it murder pure and simple, combatants with nothing to protect them.
Brilliant.
He really laments how being around that kind of thing, even just as a spectator, can make you crueler and less humane.
It's like, I don't know, maybe how doom scrolling online can make you feel cynical or short-tempered afterwards.
That's a great modern parallel. Seneca was sharply aware of those subtle corruptions. He urges us to be really mindful of the influences we let in because our environment deeply shapes our character, our ability to live authentically.
That theme of resilience, facing adversity, continues in letter LXD7. He says life is never incomplete if it's lived honorably, no matter how short it is. Tells the story of Tullius Marcellinus, who was sick and thinking about suicide. And a Stoic friend advises him, essentially, that living itself isn't such a big deal. But what is, however, a great thing is to die in a manner which is honorable, enlightened, and courageous.
This is where Stoicism often gets tagged as maybe overly fatalistic or grim, but it's really about focusing fiercely on what you can control: your response, your character, your integrity.
Not the external event itself.
Exactly. He even gives that really intense example of the Spartan boy prisoner. Rather than do a humiliating slave task, the boy chose a brave death by, well, cracking his skull against a wall.
Wow, that's extreme.
It is extreme, but Seneca uses it to ask, freedom is as near as that is anyone really still a slave? It highlights this idea that your spirit, your will, can remain free even if your body is captive. It's a powerful, if stark, statement about ultimate internal control.
Letter LXE8 offers more practical comfort, strategies for coping with illness and pain, something pretty much all of us face eventually. Seneca even talks about his own severe respiratory illness, his catarrh.
Yeah, it makes it very human, very relatable. He's not just theorizing.
And his key advice.
It's profound. Refuse to let the thought of death bother you. Nothing is grim when we have escaped that fear.
Easier said than done, maybe.
Perhaps. But he breaks down why illness upsets us: fear of dying, physical suffering, and having our pleasures interrupted. He argues the fear of death is just part of nature, not specific to the illness, and that physical pain is actually a trivial sort of thing if our thinking doesn't add to it. We amplify our own suffering with worry and catastrophic thoughts.
So, mind over matter.
To a large extent, yes. He advises focusing on the pleasures of the mind and spirit, things like learning, contemplation, friendship, which no illness can truly take away. Don't cling so hard to physical indulgences.
Because those can be taken away.
Right. He concludes, everything hangs on one's thinking. It puts immense agency back in our hands, even when facing physical hardship.
Finally, letter XCI tackles how to deal with huge, catastrophic, unexpected events, like the entire city of Lyon burning down, which deeply affected his friend Liberalis. How do you find resilience when life just throws something unimaginable at you?
This is such a powerful capstone to his ideas on adversity. He points out that unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster. The shock makes it worse.
Makes sense.
Therefore, his advice is, project our thoughts ahead of us at every turn and have in mind every possible eventuality. Mentally rehearse things like exile, torture, war, shipwreck.
That sounds kind of morbid.
It sounds morbid, but the goal isn't to dwell on the negative. It's to mentally inoculate yourself, to reduce the shock factor if something bad does happen. He reminds us nothing is durable, whether for an individual or for a society. Everything human-made is mortal.
Accepting impermanence.
Yes, but he also offers a counterthought, a glimmer of hope. Sometimes a setback has often cleared the way for greater prosperity. Things can be rebuilt, sometimes better.
Right.
And crucially, don't fear things just because of common report or panic. Assess them rationally. And then his ultimate message of control and freedom. No one has power over us when death is within our own power. Meaning that by accepting mortality, by understanding what is truly within our control, our thoughts, our responses, we find a radical kind of freedom from external circumstances.
Wow. So pulling it all together, what does this deep dive into Seneca's letters really show us?
Wow.
It feels like a profound call to authenticity, doesn't it? Urging us to look inward for happiness, to seek wisdom that actually helps us live better, and to navigate society and inevitable hardship with real strength and grace. It's a journey of self-mastery, maybe, not a final destination.
Exactly. I think Seneca's enduring message is about building that inner fortress, learning to distinguish what's truly important from what's just, well, superfluous noise, and recognizing that key phrase. We are born for it, but not with it, meaning virtue, authenticity, inner strength, they aren't just handed to us. They have to be cultivated.
Through daily practice.
Daily practice, reflection, unwavering commitment. It's work.
It is. It's a continuous, active process, just like he describes the philosophical path itself. And maybe if you take anything away from today's deep dive, listeners, consider this really powerful thought from Seneca, something to just mull over.
Yeah.
For the only safe harbor in this life's tossing, troubled sea is to refuse to be bothered about what the future will bring, and to stand ready and confident, squaring the breast to take without skulking or flinching whatever fortune hurls at us.
That is a truly liberating perspective, isn't it? It suggests the greatest peace isn't about controlling the waves out there, but about mastering your own ship, your own response. So what stands out to you from Seneca's wisdom? How might embracing some of these principles, inner freedom, resilience, change how you approach your everyday life?
Lots to think about. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep diving deep into the knowledge that truly enriches your existence.